Gogenka yautati yayagi anchich koa. It's a little windy today here in Anchorage. Yak ayaya yich satini stakatuhan. Achtu yak ewuch in. Lingit yu getangistutus tuwa. Konach yak ayaya yiyat achotkine. So good to see you guys. I'm happy we're studying Lingit together, and it just feels good to gaze upon your faces. I see a question in the chat already. Where do I find the class slides from the first class? And I'm going to share those right now. I like to share these at the end of each class, but I often forget because I'm pushing so many buttons while I'm teaching that I lose track. But I got you. One sec. I have them right here in my folder. And let's do day 1, share. Everyone. Okay, get these in the chat. Any other slides that I missed that you guys need? I'll add day 2 as well. Shirley and I make these slides specifically for this class. Y'all are welcome to use them to study, to teach, any way that uplifts your language learning paths. Please make use of anything we make. It belongs to you guys. Shirley is busy today, so I have you for the day, but she and I planned today's lesson together, and we'll go ahead and get started. So, Dag unyagi ayahya yagi tawak disi yudua sag ya dis tleka ka neskiawachi. It's Thursday, the 4th day of the week, January, and 23 days have passed this month. So on our menu for today, we want to have a little discussion about jobs for the newspapers, the newspaper that we're going to write in Tlingit. And we have a list of articles and, ideas of jobs people might want to do. So we'll continue with that. I would like to check in with you guys a little in our question and answer section about your language goals. We talked about them a little bit, but I like to continuously check in with you guys. And then Shirley and I are looking for a specific recording of Kich Kwan, the cake dancers, performing the Kagwantan love song. And some of our friends from Cake are helping us locate it. But to get started, I have the lyrics written that Ezra Danawak shared with us, and so we'll practice pronunciation as a starting point. And then Shirley would like us to start working on our team goal of everyone being able to introduce yourself in Tlingit. Any questions so far? Okay. So for our pronunciation, I had a request in email for how to pronounce this phrase, go, we will succeed. And I don't see the person here, but we'll practice together. Yagach tudlak is a word that means we will succeed. And so let's practice it because it's a positive phrase. It's a good thing to say, words of encouragement. And let's start with this last sound, this last syllable, starting with the DL, and repeat after me. Dlak.
Block.
Good. Yeah, that underlined K is pronounced in the back of your throat. And this first part, gachtu, if you see gachtu at the beginning of a word or towards the beginning of a word, it means we will. So we will succeed. Yagach tudlak. So please repeat this after me. Yagach tudlak.
Yuga,
Idahtulak.
Yuga,
Good. And then this first word, gook, means go or go ahead. So please repeat after me. Gook yagachtudlak.
Guk.
Gug, Yagatu,
Idahtulak.
Uh, um, that was a question. Are there any other language questions from anybody so far off the top of your head? Hey, Shirley's here.
Yeah, sorry I'm late.
No problem. Good to see you. We were just going over questions from the email, and the term was gook yagachtudlak. So we just practiced that, Shirley. Um, Before we hop into the newspaper discussion, um, when it comes to reading, writing, pronunciation, or listening comprehension, are there any priorities amongst you guys? Like you're like, oh, I really want to work on my pronunciation, or I really want to learn to understand people when they're speaking.
I would like it all. Whatever I can get, as much as I can get.
Good. Awesome.
And I appreciate being able to hear it because I'm over on the East Coast, so I don't hear it as often. So it's one of the
Oh.
reasons for sitting in. Yeah,
Oh, cool. So are you on Eastern Standard Time?
correct. I'm in
Okay.
Washington, D.C. area.
Wow, cool. Awesome.
Uh, that too, being able to hear as much as I can is a goal for me. Just I'm in Alberta, so I'm not surrounded by speakers and don't get an opportunity to hear as much as I would like.
Okay, buenos dias. Anyone else?
Also, I find the translation exercises just super helpful for comprehension.
Mm-hmm. Good. Awesome. Thanks for checking in. So let's talk about the newspaper. And um, we wanted to check in about jobs. So on day one, we found out that among this group, we have a lot of people who actually have some experience in newspapers. We have people that have been editors, reporters, a photographer, illustrators. Um, Shirley, did you want to say anything about our discussion for jobs for the newspaper?
No, the I think it's first thing we need to look at is who is going um, to do what we want everybody to be involved in some way. Uh, will be uh, writing and translating. You're going to have to make a decision if you would like to write it in Lingit and have the translation so people who don't know the language uh, will be able to read it and enjoy it. And it's going to take time, so I think we will should get started on it. And I hope you've been thinking about what how you want to participate in it.
Yeah.
So we will listen and go along uh, and make suggestions as we go.
Okay. That sounds good.
Ikaw ayas pan.
Equity. What about, speaking of translations, what are you guys thinking so far as how we would write the paper? Do we want a column written in Lingit and then a column translated into English for each article?
Yes, I really love seeing the translations from English to Lingit.
Okay. So
First,
let's-
you have to pick a name.
oh yeah, let's talk about our names because we have a list of some contenders. I'll pull them up. So for our title, let's go here.
I strongly suggest that we don't use the word raven or eagle
Okay.
because if there's other people that have written short papers, we don't want to infringe on anybody.
Yeah, that makes sense. Would we want to use any animals' names or just keep terms more general? Like instead of the raven talks, we would just say we talk or we speak.
I think they should just come up with some ideas and decide from there.
Okay. What are some other ideas people have been thinking about so far? There was we speak, someone's words are heard. Neek, named after the William Paul's newspaper News.
Would it be Tlingit Times?
Tlingit Times, I like it. What else?
Wonder how that would translate. Get
Yeah. How do you say the New York Times in Tlingit? Just curious.
It depends on the meaning we're using for times. I think of times in a newspaper name to be like these days or our days.
Yeah. How would that? I don't know. Maybe that doesn't work.
Well, I think it would work. I think you could say Hayagi, our day. What else? Hayagi. Or these days. I'm going to show you guys a couple
Sounds like
resources.
a soap opera, though, kind of.
As the page turns.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's look in Lingit about time references and see if anything jumps out.
Does it really refer to the time or like what's going on right now, or what is it?
I wonder.
What does anybody think about that?
Yeah.
We don't know. New York Times kind of think that they're not talking about the time at 2 o'clock or
Yeah, that's interesting to think about.
More of like the day, like so maybe that today.
The modern Tlingit.
The modern Tlingit, I like it. In the phrase book, there's a word now, yidat. What else? Every day, chatlak yagi.
I think that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Is there a translation for like observer or, yeah, like Lingit dispatch or something?
Observer or dispatch? Let me look. Observer or observe. I came here in order to observe people's way of life. Ha tchwagut kakustiyi kan kaltint.
It's a little log.
Yeah, right.
Make our life easy if half the page is the title. Let's see.
Is there like
Observe.
Tribune?
Oh, Tribune. There's observe it kashatin. I'm gonna add this since we're just brainstorming.
Atlatin is watch me.
Oh, watch me. What did you say it was? Chat kashatin.
Atlatin.
Oh, aklatin. Aklatin.
Atlatin.
Oh, chatlatin. Gonastish.
Is there a word for a loudspeaker or like a horn or something?
Let me look that up, and also horn. I mean, what was the other one you said? Tribune.
Yeah. I really have a bunch of thoughts right now about it.
What is a tribune? I mean, what does it mean?
I don't know.
Does it come from tribute? Contribute?
We're looking that up too.
We have distribute. Okay, let's look up horn. Or the drum might be relevant.
It's kind of a leader, a tribune.
Oh.
Yeah, that doesn't work. Or maybe.
Most of the entries for horn that I'm finding are related to animal horns.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense too.
Let's look back in the phrase book. So,
I think that's the funny part about trying to translate English first into a like it's just really funny usually when you try to use English first and then translate it because it just doesn't, it comes off. It's just a different type of thing.
Yeah. I often rely on Shirley and other elders to check the the meaning of what I'm saying, because sometimes I'll look in a book and be like, oh, here's this word, it means this, but then they'll be like, well, you use that in a different way, you know, so that's helpful to have an elder.
There was a word we had, I think it was last semester, Shikuzi.
Shikuzi. That means like amazing?
Yeah.
Okay. That would be a fun name.
It's called Wasa.
Wasa.
What?
What? Wasa.
I heard that the name Neek come up. I don't think we'll be able to use that, but we could call it Kanik.
Oh.
Tell it.
Kanik.
Tell it.
Okay. Kanik, tell it. Kanik. That's a good one.
That is.
Just now, Yesu. A while ago, Ziyak. Always, Chatak. I'm just looking through ideas.
Did we decide what Tribune was?
I didn't find Tribune, but Rachel said it has to do with, like, in English, it has to do with a leader. Is that right, Rachel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Tribune. I'm looking through commands now and Lingit Class. If you guys see anything that you like, speak up. Listen as a command. Khinis ach. Oops.
Read this or read it.
Oh yeah. Read it. Nai tu. It reminds me of like cartoons where they're selling newspapers. Extra, extra, read all about it.
I think the street kids that sold it used to not say extra, but they said wax.
Oh, wait, what did they say?
Wax.
What is that, Shirley?
W. That's just their way of saying extra, I think.
Oh, in the cartoons?
In the movies.
Oh. Here's the one Shirley told us, Kananik, tell it.
What about that? Tell me and clink it.
Tell me and clink it is Lingit Reinach Khan Kananik. That one's cool. I'm gonna write it.
Drop that finger and on Kanan, tell it to me.
Okay. Tell it to me.
You want a short shorter ones that people can pick up from. You're actually going to try to sell it, or I know this is for fun experience, but you might as well think of how it is to go through this. And
Yeah.
this actually happens when somebody's trying to do something.
Yeah, I like that too. So cool. We adapted the phrase "tell it to me" in Tlingit, so it's shorter for a title. Chan Kananik. So far, we have Kayu Chatanku Ucht. Someone's words are heard. Kanik, tell it. Hayagi, our day. Yidat, now. Chetlitin, watch me. Sekut, amazing. Wasa, what? Nay, two, read it. And Chan Kananik, tell it to me.
It's a couple in the chat as well.
Oh, thank you. Okay, Shkashnik. Let's add Shkashnik. Shkashnik story. And Nachtutu, let us read it. Nice. What do you guys think? Should we select from these or keep looking for more ideas?
That's quite a
Those
few.
look good. Yeah, those look good.
Okay. What are your favorites?
Can we start by eliminating?
Yeah,
Maybe we can do it in reverse instead of trying to vote in the most popular.
that sounds good.
Uh,
So I think we could eliminate Hayagi our day because it's kind of off tone from what we were going for from New York Times. Any objections? Seeing none, Hayagi is eliminated. Any others?
Need that. I feel like it's so vague.
Too vague. What do you guys think? Can we eliminate Yidet?
Yep.
Okay.
yeah, it kind of leaves you in the air.
Yeah. Chetlatin is kind of like watch me. We're more
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Individual thing.
Yeah. Let's strike that one. So we still have Kayu Chatanku Ucht. Kanik. What's that?
I was just gonna say that top one, it's kind of long. So if we were thinking of space-wise.
Yeah. Are you guys okay if we eliminate Kayu Chatanku Ucht? Okay.
We could save it for our mission.
Our company mission.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have, that brings us down to Kanik, Shikuti, Wasa. Nai tu. Chan kananik. Shkasnik. And nachtu tu. I think these all look pretty strong. Any that you see could be eliminated?
Wasa.
Okay. Eliminating wasa. Any more?
Maybe kanik, because we have Khan kananik.
Yeah. Good. So we have 5 left. Llykudzi, nai tu, chan kananik, shkasnik, nachtu tu.
But that same logic, then we could get rid of read it because we have let us read it.
Oh yeah. Any objections? All right, we got 4 left. Any favorites jumping out at you guys?
I think the last phrase is kind of long, isn't it?
Nachtu tu.
No,
Let us.
not that one. I guess you eliminated already.
Which one?
Oh, Khan, or is that it?
Yeah, we have chan kananik in here. Do you think that one's too long, Shirley? Chan kananik.
We want the title to roll off the lips of people.
Mm,
So
good point.
I'm wondering if
Two
like
seems cute.
Which one seems cute?
Nak tutu.
Nachtutu. Let's read it. And Squate, what were you gonna say?
I was just going to ask, when you guys first talked about this project, did you talk about what kind of stories we're going to do? Because if we're just selling, like, doing like just amazing things, then amazing, right? Or if we're going to do more storytelling, or or is it going to be more news like New York Times, right? And reporting.
Yeah, good point. Like
That might help us.
Yeah, what sums up our newspaper?
that's what you're going to have to discuss once you're organized.
Okay. We have a big list of articles. Do you guys want me to review them with you?
Can we finish the title thing?
Yeah. Let's finish the title. We're down to 4. Llykudzi, chan kananik, shkasnik, or nachtutu.
I like the last one as well.
Yeah, nachtutu.
Yeah, I think I like the last one too, because you're gonna have Lingit and English. So it's like that seems like the mission of what we're trying to do, the papers.
Yeah. Everyone else feel okay with nachtutu as our title?
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's I think that's a good title too, because it's it includes like everybody can, everybody read it.
Yeah. That's a good point. Try to put up. Okay, so this will be our winner. Ach, two. And I'll put it up top. Good job. Look at us. Okay. So next thing we want to discuss is our jobs. Do you think that sounds right, Shirley?
We don't even know what jobs are entailed.
We have a list from day one: editor, translations, reporters, photographer, illustrator, or writers. What else would be needed, you guys?
Somebody to do the layout.
Okay.
Did you want a editor and a co-editor? Seems like we have enough people.
Sounds good. And I put people's names next to the jobs just because they mention that they have experience, but that doesn't lock you into doing it for this paper. So don't get nervous if you see your name by a job already. How do you guys feel about editor and co-editor? Any volunteers? What does the editor for a newspaper do?
Have to, oh, maybe somebody knows.
So, in my experience, reviewing the articles and making sure, things are aligned with the mission and the work that the paper wants to put out.
Nice.
Help keep things, and then there's also, um, depending on the different levels and the size of the paper, there could be a higher level. The editor just also being the person to help keep the wheels moving, all the jobs going, and making sure there's money to publish.
I got you.
Are you going to set a time? I wonder.
A time for publishing?
A time to get out the paper.
Right now it's January 23rd. So should we set a goal for 1 month?
I think if you get an editor and a co-editor, they can decide with the other workers what they think they can get done.
I see. Okay, so decide a time for publishing. And how much can get done. Fine, okay. So, anything else people want to mention about the job description for editor and co-editor?
Editing all the articles for grammar, spelling, newspaper style.
Okay. Good. Anything else? They'll have their hands full. It will be fun. All right, translations might seem simple. You translate from one language to the other, but there are going to be a lot of steps involved. So, what comes to mind for this job description? For example, would you write it first in English and then translate it into Tlingit?
Will be available for to help.
Mhm.
So you can run things by us. See, we can't seem to get this one right.
Okay. So we'll be here to help translation support. So maybe doing like a first draft. Probably making a table to start with. Is usually how I do translation work. So you have a column for English or Tlingit and a column for English. And maybe you won't know right from the beginning how you're going to translate, but you can kind of work on it as a puzzle, piece by piece. So probably I would say a big step of translation work is reviewing your work with an advanced speaker. Okay, we have two jobs that it seem similar, reporters and writers. Are those different jobs in anybody's mind for a newspaper?
I think they're the same.
Okay, then I'm gonna eliminate writer and just put reporter. Next, oh, writers and reporters. Seems straightforward, just writing the articles.
There should be a job for everybody.
Okay.
If somebody wants to be a reporter, I think a paper does take more than one reporter. So if you're thinking, I want to be a reporter, but somebody else already said that, you can decide after we get started. Say, I want to be a reporter for the hospital. I want to be a reporter for different events.
Good point. And then we'll have columns too, like people mentioned, depending on people's interests. Advice columns, all kinds of different things. So we'll have a reporter or writer for each.
But you don't have to do all the things in the column.
Exactly. Okay, good point.
This doesn't have
Photographer.
to do with jobs, but I saw one like really fun exercise for learning would be Mad Libs. So I think that like goes into one of the columns or something, but Mad Libs for Tlingit would be really fun, kind of, because it mixes English and Tlingit in a funny way.
Can you remind me what Mad Libs are? I feel like I used to fill out books that were Mad Libs when I was a kid.
Yeah, so it'll be like my favorite color is, and then but it's meant to be funny, like you add it and like so you'll it's a fill in the blank, but you set everything up and then you have a fill in the blank for like an adjective or a verb.
Yeah,
And since like Shinga is so verby, then it would be kind of fun
yeah. So are you
for
thinking
like
that
actions.
yeah, so put that in the games section of the paper for people to fill
Yeah,
out? Okay.
yeah, that would be fun. I feel
Yeah.
like games would just be a really fun part of it. I know that that's his off subject, but while I'm thinking about it.
I'm just gonna add Mad Libs to like our games section.
Am I the only one that remembers Mad Libs?
Yeah. I
Nope. I still do them with my adult children.
Okay, so those are fun and it's helpful for like verbs. I learned how to, I learned English that way. So
Yep. Great for road trips.
yeah,
that's probably true. That's kind of what this is, though. It's like a road trip.
yeah, you gotta have a good games section. It just brings back so many memories. I don't think I've thought about Mad Libs since like 1991, so this is fun for me.
Yeah.
Mad Libs. Okay, we only have about 8 minutes left. So let's talk about the last three jobs are photographer, illustrator, and then layout design. I feel like photographer, you're taking photos, but also you're just supplying photographs for our topics, including asking people around, hey, we're doing a section on medicine. Does anyone have a picture of Devil's Club? Things like that. Any other comments on the photographer role? And then,
The only thing on the photographer, I think we just need to make sure that we'd have captions or know where we got the photos from, have
oh,
permissions to use the photos.
okay, cool. Make sure we have captions and permission.
Particularly for if there's any kids in the pictures.
Okay. Excuse me. That's a good point. Anything else coming to mind for that role, photographer? No. Okay. Illustrator, what about this role, you guys?
That would be to like draw the logo um for the I guess like draw a logo and also like I don't know,
Would this be
accompanying oh,
sorry,
no.
comic strips and
Also
was
like
it your,
recipe drawings would be cute,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
like food drawings, like plant drawings. One of my
Yes.
favorite things to draw is a salmon jar. So things like
Ooh.
that.
Ooh. Yeah, let's make our newspaper visually appealing with lots of fun things to look at while you're reading. Good. Layout design, what comes to mind for this role? You guys would want to make sure it be included.
Did we get the editors? I mean, the editors.
So far all we've done is write out descriptions of each job, but we haven't really assigned anybody yet. You think we should?
Oh, I thought we were trying to do that as we go along. Nobody
I haven't really
Well, you can
gotten
go through the list and decide what you would like to try to do.
yeah. Any of the jobs look appealing to people right away that you want to jump on it?
Illustrator, as I said before.
Okay. I'm gonna put your name here. So we have Rachel for the illustrator. Who else? For any of the jobs?
Not for one of the jobs, but just for the layout design,
Yeah.
just building the template and then making sure the pieces fit into it when time comes, right? So word count, and adjusting size and font to make sure that things lay in the space correctly.
Okay.
So what would that be called?
Right now
Layout,
we have it as,
layout,
yeah, as the layout.
layout editor, or
Layout editor sounds good. Is that what they called it at your paper, Squate?
So I don't remember, so I had two bad experience. Well, not one was a bad experience, because I wasn't good at it. I worked at Fort Lewis when I was at school there. I was part of the Native American newspaper. I was probably their worst reporter there,
What?
but I did it. It was a great experience, right? But that was like
Okay.
30 years ago. But then I also helped lead Indian Country Today for a little bit,
Wow.
and I don't remember what the term was for who laid it all out, but I just remember that was a task that somebody had to do. Um, but it wasn't my task.
Yeah. Was it a specific person that did that as their own role, or was it like the editor did it, or?
It was somebody else that did it, wasn't the editor.
Okay.
We had somebody, I mean, so when I came onto Indian Country Today, it was when it was with NCAI. And so it was when it was gifted to us. So that we actually had no staff. So I got to do every role.
Yeah.
But we had somebody who volunteered some time for us to get articles out and published until we hired staff.
Whoa. That's wild.
Yeah, it was a fun time.
Dang.
that's a wonderful experience because a lot of
It
things
was.
like questions that come up in regards to where should we put this article? Where's the best place to those kind of things that has to make it fit.
Yeah.
So can we call that the layout editor or?
I like that title. I like that name for the title.
I can go down as editor.
Thank you. Gunaltish. Kajis Akla signed up for editor. We'll need one more co-editor too. Any volunteers? What about translations? Or what else jumps out to you guys as your potential exciting roles in our newspaper? Oh, we could just make Squate do everything since she's used to doing everything for a paper.
Yeah. The trauma was real. It was yeah, sometime I will tell you all about some of those things behind the scenes that we had to do. But one of the best things that I got to do was make sure that Indian Country Today did not go silent and that it continued, because that was an option they gave us when they gifted it to us, is that you guys could just archive it and put it away. We're like, no, that doesn't make sense. And so we hired Mark Trahant as our editor, and that was the best thing we could have done.
Whoa.
Oh.
Can I ask, what was his strongest quality as an editor, would you say?
He was very visionary. And so he, he wanted a lot of things to be done quickly. So he was just like, we're going to do this fundraiser, and I want to do a fundraiser on socks because I think it's fun. And so then I had to figure out how we were going to do this really quickly, right? And get it out in front of tribal leaders in a very short time period. And so, and then we decided we wanted to go as a public media. And that's how we were going to generate funds. And we had to come up with a way to do that and create the nonprofit and all of that. Like, everything was really quick, right? But he had great vision for it, and it's what made it sustainable.
Wow.
Yeah.
Visionary, big picture,
Mhm.
action, like
Yeah.
doer. Okay.
And he wasn't reading all of the articles, right? Like, they had team meetings and they would decide. So, in the beginning, like, I would read all the articles and I would do the copy editing or just checking. He was doing more of the visionary, big picture stuff once we brought him on.
Mm. Awesome. Well, that's all the time we have for today, you guys, but we got a lot done. I'm excited to get the ball rolling on our newspaper. On Tuesday, Shirley and I have some more content for you guys, as far as the Kagwantan love song and starting our goal of self-introductions for this class. So have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you all hopefully on Tuesday. Gunat Chish.
Sheesh.